Hi everyone, Intuitive Kathleen Miller here, and this is the August Intuitive Energy Forecast. And so I just downloaded this morning. I always like to kind of get in just under the beginning of the month so that it's very fresh. I don't look at any other sources. This is completely downloaded from source, from my team, to be of assistance, inspiration, guidance, empowerment for you. So let's dive in. This month is, as we know, we have the Lionsgate portal. We have so much that is continuously coming into disclosure, certainly within the US, but also global changes that are happening as well. And so the first focal point they're showing, and what the theme here is divine rising. And so this is star element. This is this internal inevitable rise. And so not only, as we all know, the Schumann flows that are coming in, the solar corona flows that are coming in that are activating everyone, even those who are just now waking up for the first time, that are being, really infused with light. And so this collective expansion, this collective rising, but also for you personally, this divine rising. So this is for those of us that have been dormant or maybe had a period of really under the radar, which might have been a very long period. And that not only is for internal development, but also because, of course, divine timing. So part of divine timing, divine rising, they're kind of intertwined here as well. And so this really can translate into coming into the spotlight. This is for many of us coming into new roles, this new earth. A lot of us are going to be shifting into new roles, new higher upgrades for many people. And also part of the star element is a wider radius of reach. So this is not only really increase gifts. So if you're a healer, you might notice your healing gifts are more powerful. If you're a teacher, more profound work there, more profound. Anything that you're doing is going to be amplified in the star element. And star element, as we know, the supernova, superstars, they are really, again, more impact that is being created, which is really necessary at this time. So this is also equally important to bring it back to the body. As a star element is activated, we've got to watch hydration. We've got to watch our minerals staying balanced in the body. And we also need to watch overstimulation, because as we know, Fast and Furious with sort of a shooting star, they tend to burn out. So we want to keep the everything balanced so that our bodies can handle, our nervous systems can handle the load of increase, and we're really supported in that. So that's really that first point there. And then number 2 is release your moorings. And so they were showing me not just a little boat with a simple rope, but they were showing me these large kind of cruise liners where the ropes are literally, the size of tree trunks, that are they're mooring the boat to port. They're mooring that. And that felt more as though it was a collective instead of a personal boat, which may be also relevant as well, because we have to unmoor our personal situation and our circumstances. But releasing your moorings is, ropes or chains that are holding us where we no longer need to be. It's time to leave that port. It's time to leave that. And this can be jobs, these can be relationships, these can be circumstances that you've kind of are outmoded for you. Certainly on a collective global level, this is systems that are already currently dismantling and more dynamically to come. So as this happens, really releasing, the addiction to third dimension, the, whatever is holding you to and anchoring you to a place that it may be time to shift from. And so that releasing moorings, they kept showing me rope over and over, which is the tree element, because ropes come from trees. And then also, because the tree element relates to the muscular system, this is also a message for really watching the muscular system. So this month in August, really making sure you are stretching, you are really watching for muscular balance, which can be, again, minerals help to support that, the muscles being supported. And if you put this on with the star element, star and tree together, it's got to withstand the just the impact of what's coming in. So this is also reflective of our bodies being able to handle this ever increasing wavelengths that are coming in that are infusing the light body, and that our cell, our physical structure has to also keep up with this. So this is for those of you with arthritic issues or challenges in the muscular system, really watching that, and, support for stretching, or maybe a class, because there's people think of stretching and it's really not a whole lot, but really when you go into deeper stretch, or even a hot yoga type of where you're going into a different range of stretch, it can be very, very beneficial for the month of August. So really looking into that, and really being willing to evaluate, because they kept showing me staring at, and I don't know if you've ever, if you've seen a post where, the docks of where boats are anchored, and they kept kind of going back to seeing it all wound up. Like it's there, it wasn't just a quick release. It was, wow, it had to unwind and then come off of the post. And to me, that really translated into more unwinding that we're doing from, if it's a long-term situation, a long-term relationship, a long-term circumstance, it may not, as we all know, our healing is layers, our release can be layers. Certainly if because of all the programming, we can be structured so dynamically that we can't force that process. So not to really, force that off, but to really ask, okay, what is still outstanding for me to be unwinding fully, so that I'm ready to release. I'm ready to leave shore if that's what's required here. I'm ready to, go to a new, be divinely guided to a new destination. And so really, being open to that, really playing with that, because that feels like that is the beginning of an unfoldment for each of us. And really, again, the focal point being the willingness to release that kind of anchored, really held sense of security. Because if you think about it, the boat, it seems secure. By many definitions, it would be, and yet it's as simple as just unwinding and releasing, and it's free to go. So letting yourself be freed up, trusting in the divine flow of clarity about timing, preparation certainly is super huge in this as well. And then of course, tree element is money as well. So this is releasing. We know we have financial changes coming in a major way. So releasing that our attachment and our identity to what it should be, and acknowledging outmoded systems to be able to have an easier time as we shift to new ones will be really the name of the game for long-term longevity of thriving. So that's 2. And then 3 is collective breath for new earth. And so this one is really extensive. I'm going to actually do a podcast on this as well, because as many of you know, there, this rising of disclosure, this rising of the, what is happening in a destructive way, in so many parts of the world in different ways. And so this, this duality reaction is to fight and to push and to resist and to go against. And really that is perpetuating the violence. It's perpetuating the decline. And so as we move into this collective breath for a higher possibility. We begin to move into and use the power of our source breath, use the power of our voice, use the power of our, inner capacities that are awakening from that divine rising to be able to say no more, and here envisioning the new earth, visioning the free energy, visioning the free food systems, the free healthcare, like all of these different systems, and a new way of being, a new commerce, a new quantum financial system, a new all of these different pieces of sovereign identity, sovereign freedom, sovereign inclusion, for new earth infrastructure to begin to come into tangible light. And so as we find our own personal microcosm of the breath, of the voice, of your message unique to you, because your light is rising, because you're in that increased flexibility and fluidity of where you need to go, what's changing with you, and you're speaking into this new vision, this in and of itself will collapse the remaining darkness. This of itself will not allow many of these absurdities and criminal offenses that are happening to our food, that are happening to our air, that are happening to our children, that are happening to our country, and allow us to move into a new dynamic, because as we move through this vibrationally going higher, not going down to it to fight, but to lift collectively into this is now going a different way, which still will bring conscious legalities for those that need to account for criminal activity and for wrongdoing. Absolutely, there's due process in third dimension, by all means. This is not love and light and rainbows. Well, it is love, light, and rainbows, and legal action where it's warranted. So it's really having the grounded, we're still in this 3D as we move to these higher dimensions, but we're also really, the main focus is this core vibration that is divinely rising, that is releasing the moorings, because we've got to release these structures more and more too, and then is collectively breathing into the new from that elevated place. Then we are going to see dynamic overnight change and dynamic infusion of the free energy, of the components that will be making up the new earth thriving that many of us are quite ready for. And so it is here. It's already here. The new earth is now. As we align with it and as we move and gently rise, and we hear the insanity that's still ensuing, but we are clear on our choice to ascend. We are clear on our voice of desire for this unity consciousness for all, this freedom for all, this food for all, this clean food for all, this clean earth for all. And as we do that with the earth, with the multiverse, also receiving the divine, benevolent, high integrity galactic supports that are really helping more than most realize behind the scenes, and soon will be within range for all to see, then we will be in this faster track, if we so choose, because it is collective choice. And that always comes back to the microcosm choice. So really playing with this. I know it's a very dynamic month. The weekend of the portal is really a high echelon, especially with that divine rising. So make sure if you go into meditation, if you have just personal intention, really bringing in what your message is, or asking for clarity if you're still kind of in some fog about your path, your direction, bringing this light in to clear this for yourself, which also helps to clear it for the collective. So I hope this has been a contribution for you. I also want to share that I am going to be a keynote speaker at the New Visions Holistic Expo on the East Coast in York, Pennsylvania. You can find out more about that at newvisionsholisticexpo.com. And then I also, in the first week of October, I have a few spaces open for the Wild Women's Intuitive Wellness Retreat, and that is going to be in Sedona, Arizona. We are going to be doing this work here on a much deeper level in the vortexes of Sedona. I have a beautiful yoga studio that we're going to be doing group healing work at the night, and then the mornings we're going to be doing beautiful hikes, and then you'll have the days to be able to rest and play and relax. And it is a tech detox weekend, which everyone under the sun can use, and it is a beautiful time to be there. To me, it's the cherry pick of the year is October there. And so if you would like more information about that, to apply for a space there, you can find that at my site at intuitivelifestylesuccess.com. So if you do like this, I'd love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a comment, and also, always feel free to, if you have questions or content recommendations you'd like to hear more of, I'm always creating videos, podcasts, different content for it, and I do listen to those and really bring them in. So thank you so much. Have an incredible August. It's going to be a very powerhouse month for all of us, so we need to be prepared. We need to be really clear in our voice. We need to be thanking the universe for really taking care of aligning divine justice for those who are harming our planet and harming our food sources, and that those are divinely rerouted. Those are divinely accountable for what they are choosing, and we are being the light as those who are meant to be the conscious legality support are moving in to help that be gently rerouted, redistributed, cleansed, cleared, and so it is. So I thank you so much. Be well, guys. See you soon.